A major weather pattern change is now underway across the United States. A prolonged and dangerous stretch of severe weather is developing. The Great Plains, Midwest, and Mississippi Valley are all at risk. This is not a brief event. Multiple outbreak days are possible. All major hazards are on the table this week. Large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes are all expected. Some of the most heavily populated corridors in the country are directly in the crosshairs. Now is the time to pay close attention. The jet stream is the key driver behind everything that follows. A deep dip in the jet stream is currently sitting along the East Coast. This feature alone is enough to produce storms today across the Southeast. But the far bigger story develops later this week. A large ridge of high pressure is currently building across the southern plains. That ridge is acting like a temporary barrier, holding back storm activity. But once it breaks down, the door swings wide open. Multiple storm systems will then eject off the Rockies in rapid succession. Today's threat is focused onto separate areas. The first is near New Orleans and Mobile, Alabama. Damaging wind gusts and large hail are expected this afternoon. Anyone in that zone should stay alert. The second area of concern runs along the East Coast, from Savannah, Georgia, into far southern North Carolina. A brief tornado cannot be ruled out. That window of risk runs between 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock this evening. Have a way to receive warnings before that time arrives. Storms across Florida will also increase during the late afternoon. The I-4 and I-95 corridors are the primary focus areas. Most storm activity across the Carolinas should wind down by around 7 o'clock this evening. Late night plans in that area should be safe. On Tuesday, a storm system dropping out of Canada moves into the Midwest. Passing showers are expected across Minnesota and Wisconsin in the morning. The more dangerous activity develops during the early to mid-afternoon. A corridor of storm potential stretches from Kansas and Oklahoma all the way to Michigan. The primary threats on Tuesday are large hail and damaging winds. A low-end chance of a brief tornado exists, particularly south of Kansas City. This remains a conditional risk. Storms may or may not fire. Stay weather-aware throughout the afternoon regardless. Wednesday brings a wet and unsettled day to the Northeast. The severe weather focus shifts to West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey. Early storms could produce large hail and possibly an isolated tornado by afternoon. Those storms will likely form into a damaging wind-producing line. Thursday will be rainy and dreary across the Northeast. Any severe weather will be isolated, mainly gusty winds. The bigger Thursday story is what's developing out west. Storm systems are beginning to push across the western United States, setting the stage for what comes next. Friday is the day that demands your full attention. A new storm system will be developing across the Central Plains if storms break through a capping inversion. The environment will be extremely dangerous. Large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes are all possible. The low-level jet stream is expected to kick in on Friday. That means wind shear will be in place to support rotating thunderstorms. The exact risk area will sharpen as we get closer. But the ingredients for a significant severe weather day are clearly aligning. Saturday is shaping up to be one of the most dangerous days of this entire stretch. The I-35 corridor across Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas faces an elevated threat. All hazards are expected to be on the table. This is a day to take very seriously. Damaging winds are the primary risk on Saturday right now, but large hail and tornadoes are certainly possible as well. Activity could extend as far north as Minnesota and as far east as Kentucky. Monitor the forecast closely as this day approaches. Sunday into Monday brings the potential for a much larger storm system. The coverage of severe weather could expand dramatically. The Midwest down through the southern plains faces the greatest risk. This is the highest uncertainty period, but the signal is strong. By Monday, the threat shifts toward the Ohio Valley and the Deep South. The system continues pushing east, bringing more storm potential. Tuesday and Wednesday may offer a brief pause as a ridge builds over the Great Lakes, but that break is expected to be short-lived. The period of May 15th through May 22nd is the window of greatest concern. Multiple outbreak-level days are possible during this stretch. Highly populated areas across the central United States must be on alert. The pattern does not appear to relax significantly after that either. Right now, storm fueled or atmospheric instability is limited across the country. It is mostly confined to the Gulf Coast at this time. But that changes rapidly as we move into the middle of the week. By Thursday and Friday, instability will be building aggressively across the Great Plains. Warm and moist air is surging northward from the Gulf of Mexico. Combined with strong jet stream energy and wind shear, the setup is dangerous. This is the classic recipe for organized long-track severe storms. The environment will be more than capable of supporting violent weather. Now is the time to make sure your severe weather plans are in order. Know your local warnings and how you will receive them. Identify a safe shelter location before any storms arrive. Do not wait until the last minute. Keep a weather radio or a reliable alert app on hand at all times this week. If you live anywhere from the Central Plains to the Ohio Valley, this stretch demands your attention. The pattern is changing fast, the energy is building, and the threat is very real. Stay with USA Storm Center for continuing coverage of this dangerous and evolving weather situation. Updates will follow as the forecast becomes clearer and timing grows more defined. The next several days will be critical. We will be here every step of the way.